Hi folks, it's widely known that the Sony A7 shutter sound is louder than most, if not perhaps all other cameras. And since I had four bodies on my hands right now, I thought I'd go ahead and make a video comparing the sound. When I looked for comparisons like this, it was really hard to find an actual comparison on YouTube or anywhere else. There was one or two, but anyway, I thought I'd do another one with this time with four bodies so you can hear the difference. Okay, so first up, Panasonic GX-7. The GX-7, like many other Panasonic cameras, does have an electronic shutter mode, which makes it completely silent. There's a couple downsides to that, but you can use the electronic shutter in many circumstances, most circumstances, depending on your shooting, and it's just wonderful to have that completely silent shooting operation. Just great. But right now it's not in electronic shutter, it's in its regular shutter mode. So here's the Panasonic GX-7. Okay, next up, Fuji XE-1. Fuji XE-1. Turn it on. It's really a nice sound, nice and quiet, sounds very muffled, mechanically, has a nice mechanical sound to it. Now here's a Nikon D600, Nikon D600. Okay, and finally the Sony A7. It is the loudest. Not much louder than the D600, but you know, it's noticeable. If you're going from you know, a Nikon, I don't have any Canon bodies here, but from one of the Nikon full frame bodies, you know, it's probably going to be a little bit louder. I mean, all I know is the D600, but the A7 is not that bad. That said, Sony could update the firmware to have an electronic shutter and be completely silent. And with all the concern of the A7 shutter sound, boy, you really think that they would offer that option. Now, they did upgrade the firmware for the A7S. They gave it the electronic shutter option. Now, why they don't do that for the A7 or A7R, I don't know. Sony is not very good at updating firmware per user requests. Fuji, on the other hand, spectacular record of updating firmware, giving cameras new features and features that users ask for. They're just terrific. Where Sony is basically the complete opposite, and they pretty much don't do it at all, or they do it in a very limited way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is do a continuous high-speed shutter, so you can hear that. All right, be right back. Okay, here we go with continuous shooting. Again, the Panasonic GX-7. All right, Fuji XE-1. Nikon D600. Okay, buffer filling up there. And the A7. And then compare that to the XE-1. All right, A7. You know, I shoot sports quite a bit, basketball, indoor volleyball, and so I'm not, in those circumstances, this isn't going to matter much, but, okay. Panasonic, here's the Nikon again. The Sony, and the XE-1. Well, there you have it. Yeah, it's not great. The A7 shutter sound, you know, for such a great camera, for something like that to be, you know, an issue, and for them to not update the firmware to give it electronic shutter, that's just really sad. Anyway, signing off. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye-bye.